Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to RPG Enlightenment. I am Josh, your host and DM for tonight's session. Tonight we will be breaking into Oath of the Frozen King, a adventure kit from Absolute Tabletop. We have a couple of people that I have played with before in the past joining us this evening to delve into the tomb. Tonight's session is called The Oathbreaker, and I guess we shall do a quick little overview of each of you guys as you guys can say your name, your character's name, anything else you want to plug, and then we will delve straight into it. Hopefully that's enough time for Nate to jump back in. So we will start with my left. So Chris, if you would care to go.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris Johnson, and I am one half of the Dargon Gaming Squad YouTube channel, and I also have a channel, CJ's Kitchen, for cooking stuff, and I'll be playing a character named Jinx tonight. Glad to be here.
Hopefully you guys don't get jinxed. Jared.
Hello, I am Jared Rogers. I am tonight playing a monk of the Way of Kensei called Yoko Monomoto, who is here from a faraway land because of a vision she saw.
And last but not least, Jaren.
Hey guys, I'm Jaren D&D from Power Up Gamers. Excuse me. Just real quick, let everyone know we launched our Kickstarter today for Legat's Tomb of Amazing Creatures. Bunch of reskinned and homebrew monsters. So check that out. You can find links in pretty much any community I belong to, including Power Up Gamers and Absolute Tabletop.
And after this is over, I will post a link for your thing in the description. So
awesome.
If it's not there now, I will have it down there. If not tonight, or probably tomorrow.
Awesome. Tonight, I will be bringing back Corvus Lamtic, my rock gnome wizard who is a mute with the talking raven.
Interesting.
He is on the search for who killed his mentor.
Interesting. Alrighty. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I already put yours in there, Jared, but if you guys don't mind putting you guys' names in the chat so that way I can make sure I address you guys as your character, that would help me out greatly. So then we shall begin our story. As the camera essentially comes from the black screen, you all are encumbered by a bright yellow light gleaming in your eyes from the sun. In front of you lies a large forest of dead trees. The snow covering as far as the eyes can see. You all can hear the cracking of the snow beneath your feet as you walk through this forest. And in the distance, you begin to see the overwhelmingly long mountain range that stands in front of you. You all feel the cold winter's embrace scarring your face with every step. The closer you get to the mountains, the more the wind haunts your guys' every step, your existence. Upon reaching this massive mountain range, you see a hole in this mountain range. This, from what you guys can tell, is the very thing that you were sent here to find. Sorry. All of you at this point would remember that you guys were given a recovery mission. A very rich, charismatic merchant entranced you all to fetch the so-called crown of the Frozen King, that which has been rumored to have lied in this exact cave. So this is your guys' mission, and this is where you are. So is there anything you guys want to say or do before entering?
Well, it looks like we have arrived. I look at my companions and I search the area for any traps and things around the door.
You can give me a investigation check.
It's sad. It's a 9.
Yeah, no. To the best of your ability, there is no traps or anything that really looks out of the ordinary. However, just to give you a little snippet, you do notice that far in the distance, to the right of this opening, you do see another opening, but it's nowhere close enough to the opening that you're currently standing in front of to really mean too much.
Yoko would step forward towards the door, looking at it, and say, "Well, we might as well just go in." And she would continue walking forward into the doorway.
Seems as good an idea as any. And I follow along.
Griffiths would just nod and follow along, although I imagine Ebony, his raven, perched on his shoulders, kind of shaking some snow off, and she looks up and says, "Whose bright idea was it to come to this cold place?" Hey, you're gonna get us all killed just by the weather. And Griffith just kind of shoots her a grin like, "Hush, enough of your sarcastic remarks."
Upon all of you guys entering this opening, you all see an elongated hallway as stretching as your current vision allows. Obviously, from going from the bright light outside into the darkness of the cave, your eyes haven't completely adjusted, so you guys can't really tell much. But from just walking in, you can tell that the walls themselves aren't even smooth. They're very rigid and very broken apart. There's a lot of grooves as far as you can see in the walls themselves. Now, I'm assuming you guys are walking down this corridor.
I would be. Or Yoko would be.
Yeah. Jinx would definitely be walking along, probably just a little behind Yoko, checking things out. And she turns to Ebony and says, "Ruffle up your feathers, little sister. It'll help you to stay warm."
You hear the strange, almost as if she's laughing, and it goes, "I'll be warm enough, but you folks don't have feathers to keep you warm." And the master here, he's just a wee little thing.
Now, as you guys walk down this long corridor, it takes you quite a while. It bobs and weaves, and it kind of has a lot of curves and things. It doesn't seem too out of the ordinary. You see the occasional torch mounts along the wall every so often, but none of which are lit. At the very end of this corridor, you come to a bend. And at that bend, there is a torch on the left and a torch right in front upon that bend. So are you guys going to follow the bend?
Yoko would definitely just keep going, just going on, not really even noticing.
Awesome. So upon walking down this corridor even further, you come down probably about 20 minutes later to a couple different oddities. To the right, you see boulders and rocks and everything that have cascaded into what used to be an opening, essentially pretty much blocking a doorway. And you start to see somewhat of a light coming from around the bend that stretches to the left of you guys. Very dim light. The cold just ever so embracing you. But you do feel that in the area that you are currently standing, it is starting to get a little bit warmer than what it was previously. Are you guys going to try to dig yourselves out of the entryway that's blocked? Or are you guys going to follow the light?
Yoko, seeing the blocked entryway, would then turn to see the light and slowly pull her pike off of her back and kind of walk cautiously and slowly around the bend.
What's everybody else doing?
Seeing the light and seeing Yoko's caution, Jinx pulls out her bow and knocks an arrow, and just has it at rest for now, and follows Yoko, trusting Yoko's instincts.
Awesome.
Corfin is with just kind of grip the quarter staff that he uses as a walking stick. Look over at the ordered area, look at Ebony and kind of give a head motion. And Ebony will fly off to kind of see what she can see in that area as we continue going around the bend.
All right, so as you guys come around the bend, you enter a room. That room is a rather large room. It spans approximately 60 feet in diameter. It does feel a little bit warmer even in here. The floor is coated in a sheet of ice. And to the left, probably about 20 to 25 feet in front of you all, to the left, you do see another opening that leads to another hallway or doorway, but it is blocked by 4 separate ice blocks. These things are spanning 4 to 5 feet in diameter. They don't seem to be light enough to try to lift them out of the way. The only real way that you guys can really figure out a way out is by trying to move them.
Okay, Corvus would just is kind of chuckle to himself, elf, and he is going to use a 4th level spell called Control Water, and he is going to pick the effect of put water on one of these big ice pillars.
So what does that do?
Give me just a sec. Okay. Until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose that is a cube up to 100 feet on the side, and you can choose from following effects. The part water, you cause water in the area to move apart and create a trench. Extends across the spell's area, and the separated water forms a wall to either side. And it remains that way until the spell ends or you choose a different effect. The water then slowly fills back in until it's restored. So ideally, because the effect I'm picking doesn't have an attack or a safety thing, so it should work. And ideally, I imagine because ice is just frozen water, I could basically split the pillar into 2 on either side of us attempting to do.
So, give me a d20 evens that works out exactly the way you planned. Odds, something else happens.
That will be a 10. And so even.
All right. So one of the cinders of frozen ice split in half, and they move a couple inches apart, but still not enough for you to get through. So what it would appear to you all is that it ended up actually causing a bit more of a hindrance on actually getting through to that doorway. Now, upon that cracking of the ice and that splitting, you end up hearing in the background almost a scream, a cry. And from the furthest ice cube, for lack of a better phrasing, all the way in the other side of the room, crawls out a creature of some sort. So, Sir Ned, if you want to join in.
Where exactly is my... Because I'm totally just jumping in randomly. Is my character actually here with everyone, or am I coming into the said scene?
Yeah, now essentially it's like you were hiding. So currently you guys are in a ginormous round room. It spans about 60 feet in diameter.
Okay.
Essentially everybody is kind of standing at the entryway of this room. There are 4 ginormous ice blocks that block the doorway into the next hallway, the next room, whatever the case may be. No one's able to really tell for sure. And you are essentially on the very opposite of the room, behind the farthest ice cube. So you were probably hiding or whatever. That's okay. I'll leave that up to you. And then upon the first ice cube or whatever cracking in half and moving, you end up getting startled and coming out.
All right. I am going to actually put myself between me and my comrades, between the moving object. Just for protection, I'm just going to ready my action. So if he comes close enough within the 5 feet, then I'll attack if I have to. Sounds like. So I'll step for right now.
You're going to attack an ice cube?
No, I'm going to stand just in case. He said it's moving, right? So I'm not sure if this is actually anything sentient or not, right?
I guess, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to move up to them, and then I don't know. I'm just still trying to see what's going on.
I mean, so realistically, you just approached a bunch of people that you don't know. So, okay. So how did the 3 of you guys respond to this random person?
Is the monk there, though?
Oh, yeah, he is.
Yeah, okay, so yes. I know him. And if he was with any of them beforehand, then I would know everyone else. But I know him for sure. And then besides that, that's just my character's personality. So actually, I would say that my character, just for funsies and just for style, I'll say that he rode in behind them on a mount, and then like, as soon as he comes up, you see the mount just disappears beneath him, just turning into nothing but grass and roots as he kind of walks up to them. And he is in, just want to be sure, chainmail. So you imagine a green chainmail knight with leaves on him and just basically standing there stoically in front of his comrade, being the monk.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, better late than never.
I just grunt and nod.
All right. So essentially, what Corfez did essentially created it even harder for you guys to get through. It appears to you the only real way of getting through is actually by physically moving these boulders. the ice below you does seem like it is slippery enough for you guys to be able to move them with a strength check, of course, but you know, should be pretty simple.
How high is the ceiling here?
The ceiling itself, I'd say, is probably 20 to 30 feet tall. It's definitely a pretty decent sized room. I'd almost assume it's almost dome shape.
And is there any debris or anything on the ground, like, I don't know, long sticks or lever-like objects?
Like, so you're essentially trying to fly around and see if there's any levers?
Not necessarily fly, I'm just looking right now, but
Okay. Yeah, realistically, the only things that you really see is the 4 boulders, and the fact that the ice below seems really slippery enough for you guys to be able to move them with pretty simple, with ease.
okay.
I can't talk
So
to
Come
them.
on, guys, let's just push these. And so I go, I kind of head over to one.
Corfish will kind of point towards the 3 that he didn't split. It kind of gesturing towards those, like, move those 3. And as he does this, because his spell is a concentration up to 10 minutes, he is going to end the effect and start one called Redirect Flow, which basically allows me to move the water. So I imagine it forms back into a single ice brick, and he just kind of pushing it, almost like telekinesis.
Okay. So give me another d20 roll. Same rolls apply.
It's even again. And as he's doing this, he just lets out this really loud pitched whistle, which is basically Ebony's familiar with it, means to come back to me. And basically tell me what she saw over by the boulders.
So as Ebony comes back, I almost imagine she sits down on your shoulder and probably like pecks at the inside of your ear. I don't know why. That's just exactly what I imagine. She essentially tells you that the spacing in between was not enough for her to get through, but she was able to see that the hall did extend quite a while, and that there seemed to have been some other sort of opening, and she could hear water coming from that opening, but she can't tell too much because of the fact that she was not able to get through.
And I imagine she's not a quiet bird by any means, so I imagine she's saying this loud enough for whoever's close to her, since she basically does speak common. And even though it's a very crude kind of hodgepodge, kind of like me smash kind of English.
So everything he said with that spell did happen then, correctly? He did reform the brick and then move the giant ice block out of the way?
So he had moved her. He had cracked one in half.
Yeah.
Which is what brought you back into the mix, and then when he realized that it only made it more difficult, he ended the spell, and then it just reformed. So nothing has been moved other than the fact that it has been reformed.
All right, then can I attempt to step forward then and move?
Okay. Then I need to roll for moving it because I start a new effect as soon as I end the old one.
Oh, okay. So you were trying to move it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the redirect flow is moving it. And it is an 18.
Wow.
I'm
Alright,
getting
so
lucky on even.
Yeah, you're doing great.
So- Yeah, that is one success. So you are able to move it. You do realize that the ice definitely does make it pretty simple to get things to kind of move around with ease. But you're still not able to get it enough.
Can I attempt to go up there and also help push it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
And just
Yes.
for your reference, Josh, the spell range is 300 feet, even though it may take a couple turns of me trying to move it.
Yeah, of course. What'd you say, Nate?
6. I'll type them out from now on. But 6, yeah.
Yeah. All
I
right,
got
so
6.
so that's an utter fail. So you go up to this thing, and you probably plant your feet wrong. And as you go to grab this, you put too much emphasis on your feet, and the ground beneath you begins to crack apart. So you realize that the ground beneath you isn't completely sturdy. So as of right now, we have 1 success and 1 failure.
So Jinx goes up to this thing, and she kind of digs her talons into the ice a little bit to get some purchase, and she starts to push on it as well. Oh, and I rolled terrible. It's an 8
Again,
or
so
9.
so she digs her talons into this, and I almost imagine that she also digs her feet talons into the ground that's below her. And seeing as she was probably standing close to Ned, it begins to even crack the ice below even more. You can tell that about half the room's ice is cracking. I almost imagine it like, have you guys seen Narnia?
Yeah.
How with the wolves, how it's like the one crack and then it kind of just starts like cracking everywhere else. I almost imagine like that kind of going on. So as of right now, you guys have 2 failures and 1 success.
At this point, Yoko, seeing both her stronger friend and this newer person she's just met recently fail at this, she's going to take her pike, kind of dig it into the... Is there a wall nearby this? Or another cube or something that I can kind of make my pike into a lever?
I would say that there is definitely another cube. I wouldn't necessarily say that there is a wall.
She's going to just like jab her pike into that cube and kind of just like use it as a lever to try to push this cube in any direction forward.
All right, go ahead and roll with advantage for creativity.
And that is a 15 on the die.
All right, so you are able to start to move it. The opening is definitely starting to seem almost enough for you guys to get in. But you do know that with one more wrong step, you guys can end up possibly completely cracking the floor below.
All right. Ned is then going to just dig in his pack. He's going to pull out a piton, whatever you call it, and take out a hammer, and then he's just going to start driving a nail in there, and he's going to rope his put a piece of rope around the block itself. I'm just going to pull it up. That way I can stand far away.
And at this point, with the cracking, what can we see of what's under this ice?
That's another good question.
You see flowing water. Obviously, you see flowing water. It seems pretty clear. I can almost imagine that after you realize that you dug the talons and it cracks a little bit more, you kind of go down and you start to wipe off the floor a little bit, and you just see like a roaring rapid's worth of water below.
Actually,
Better tread lightly from here on out. Why don't you throw me that rope and I'll pull it from the air?
deal. So he just throws you the rope, and then I'm going to step back and away. Or Ned will step back and away from it.
Well, I take to the air and I fly, pulling it.
Okay, give me a D20 strength check.
Come on, D20. Oh, better. 16.
Okay, so you are able to pull the one that was primarily blocking the door away from the entryway back. So you guys are actually going to be able to progress further through this hollowed area. So yeah.
So I throw your rope back to you.
All right, I take out my pin, and I take out the rope, and I put it back on my pack. Bad about that.
And I look for us. I guess I take myself right up to the door and land there and start inspecting the door.
The doorway doesn't necessarily seem there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the doorway. It just seemed to have been purposefully blocked. Well, other than that, there isn't too much.
So it's actually an open doorway. It's not there's not a door that we need to. Oh, okay. So I'm just go on through it.
All right, I'll follow behind.
As you guys walk through, I'm going to need everyone to make me a where is it? Damn it, I just had it. Of course, now that I'm looking for it, it's just gonna disappear.
You want water?
A dexterity saving throw.
Just so everyone knows, too, everyone gets as long as you're within 10 feet of me, gets a, let me just make sure, gets a +3 to their saving throw.
So that makes
extra
mine a
+3.
modified 23.
Wow.
That makes mine a 14.
That makes mine a 21.
Okay, so anybody who rolled beneath a 16 will take let me see, where is it? It doesn't say, so I'm just gonna randomly create one. A D8 of cold damage as a gust of brutally icy wind crashes into your guys' beings. So let me grab my D8 and roll a D8. So you guys are going to take 6 points of cold damage.
It's getting a little bit chilly in here.
Brr.
Josh, did you want me to roll for Ebony as well?
Sure, because she gets her own stuff, right?
Yeah. That will be a 10 for Ebony.
So she'll
Ow.
take 6 points of essentially frost damage.
Well.
And that's just the first encounter.
All right.
So as you guys kind of walk down this pathway, it takes you another 20 minutes to get to the end of it, and at which point you just see it kind of bend around. And as you follow that bend around, you have two options. There's you end up reaching an L in the road. You have the option to either go left into what appears to be a room that has a campfire in the center of it, or continue straight.
So I'll just nod to
Yoko's-
my comrades to the campfire, but I'm not going to make any movement to like head or indicate that I'm heading into that direction.
Yeah, Yoko seeing the campfire is just like kind of asks out loud, "Why would there be a campfire here?"
You'll just look. Never mind, I don't know names yet. Gracie, what's your character's name?
Jinx.
Jinx. He'll just look at Jinx. You can still probably see some cold on her wings. Just nods.
It does seem odd, but it would feel awful nice.
Orpheus will just kind of shrug, like, who knows? And Ebony, in a very pained voice, says, "Well, we always have the option of going back where it's from." Kind of looks at Orpheus, goes, "You know, you need for money. He doesn't further our cause, you idiot." And Corphin drinks his head and almost like he's at a loss for words, even though he's mute.
Maybe at least a room with a campfire in it won't have flowing water running underneath it. But if we go that way, I mean, who knows what we're walking into.
At that, Yoko would just nod in agreement and just aim her pike right towards the campfire and just walk slowly and very cautiously, taking each step carefully as if to test the strength of the ground underneath her.
All right, so are you trying to do this stealthily, or are you just being cautious?
Very cautious and kind of just like making sure there's nothing on the ground or the ground isn't going to go out underneath her like ice or something like that would.
Okay. The hallway that leads to this campfire is only about 5 to 10 feet long. Who haven't I really heard from? Nate, give me a D6. All right. So let me grab character names because Yoko, you will notice out of the peripherals of your vision that there is at least one creature of some sort in this room standing at a table to the left side. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what's going on. You just know that there is some other creature in this room.
Immediately upon seeing it, she just turns to Pike in that direction, kind of gets in a very defensive stance and says, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Not even sure if it can understand her.
And upon hearing that, can I start heading into the room as well?
Yeah, of course.
And behind him, Jinx pulls out her bow again and knocks an arrow, ready to back up anybody who proceeds.
So, taken back, this balding person, almost no hair exists on the back of their head, but as they turn to look at you, their faces are almost completely covered in ice. Their lips are completely missing, their teeth jagged and very sharp to some points. He turns around to you and just looks at you and just says, "Fresh meat." Everybody roll for initiative.
Remember +3 around me. Well, I'm not going.
Rolled a 12, so that would be a 19.
Minimum benefit? No.
If someone doesn't mind, to put everything in order, those are the initiatives for the monsters of the room. Yeah. So if someone doesn't mind organizing that stuff, I would appreciate it. Now, upon
I got a 3, Chris.
Upon this person or this thing turning around, you'd end up getting this foul smell of fur, and noticing this, you hear from the other side of the room another rise from a bedroll. Meat? Ooh, I am hungry. And he pulls out his dagger as well. So it looks like we will have
You're first.
yeah, me first for both of them, actually, because I got a 20 and a 19. So the one that stands at the table. Now, what was the order of you guys going into this room?
Yoko would have been right up front, just with her
Net
pike
after.
ready.
Jinx is standing in the doorway, probably taking cover against a wall.
All right, so Yoko, he is going to try to attack you.
Yay! That's always fun. I think I have something with Polearm Master whenever... Never mind. Thought I had something with Polearm Master whenever they get in
Enter
10 feet of
you
me.
get reaction.
Okay, I think I... Is that if I don't... Oh,
Well, does a 16 hit?
no.
Wow. Let me see if they get
I have
any
17.
extras. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Because I wrote stuff down. Oh wait, they get a +3 to rolls. So that would actually be a 19.
That would hit.
Yeah, that would. All right, so you are going to take 6 points of damage.
All right.
Not too bad, but bad nonetheless. And then the one that woke up from or came up from his bedroll will let's see. He will go after, let's see, 1d4. Where's my d4? Sir Ned.
Good idea.
So then let me roll a d20 and then add the thingy. All right, so I doubt it, but does 13 hit?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. All right, so he startled probably from his slumber, hasn't completely like focused in and just kind of goes wide with his dagger slash. So then that would put it at Yoko.
Immediately upon the creature striking me, Yoko would kind of take a step back and just jab at it with her pike. And that is a 13 to hit.
That will barely not hit.
All right, and she has 2 attacks, so seeing that she missed, she's going to kind of get frustrated and try stabbing it again. And that's going to be another miss with a 11.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, no, these buffs are interesting for sure.
And then I'm going to use 1 key to just have a patient defense up. I can use dodge as a bonus action. I forget exactly what dodge does, though. So
Gives a disadvantage on their attack to you.
all right.
All right, cool. So then we will move on to Jinx.
So Jinx lets an arrow fly at the bald one.
Okay.
Oh, God. I'm rolling crap tonight. I've got like a, what is that? It's a 7, I guess.
Oh God, no.
It's just sad. Her fingers are numb from the cold blast, and she just fumbles that release, and the arrow just flies wide.
Cool. Right. So, and that's all you're doing, right, Jinx? Cool. So then, we are down to the mute Corphys. Bless you.
Thank you. You see Corvus is just kind of positioned in himself almost like smack dab to where he's even with being in middle of two of them. Like he's not moving towards them. And he just is kind of chuckles, holds up his staff, one end pointing at each of them. And this strange, almost black mist starts forming around the tips of his staff. And you see a laughing skull comes streaming out of this mist. As three towards one of them and two towards the other ones. And using magic missile, cast that as a 3rd level. So one of them will receive 8 damage, and the other one will receive 10.
So which one's getting which?
I would imagine the one that's more on his left would be getting the 10, and then the one that's closer to on his right would be getting the 8.
Okay. Okay. And is that all you're doing, Jared?
Yep.
Cool. Sir Ned.
All right. So Sir Ned, after trying to get struck with the opponent, does 19s hit?
Pardon, you
Oh, do
cut out
19s
for me.
hit?
Yeah, 19 will hit.
Oh, perfect. Okay, give me 1 second.
If they didn't, I think these things would be gods.
7, 13, 14. Okay, so he's gonna take his basically his warhammer. He's gonna take it, and as the creature misses a strike, he's gonna take his warhammer down, hit the creature in the shoulder blade, and then bring it around again and hit him up in the jaw for 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
Which one are you hitting?
The one that tried striking me is the one that got up from the placemat, and then he tried striking me and totally missed.
All right, so describe how you kill that one.
As soon as his head like kind of reverberates as I hit him down on the ground, his head kind of just knocks on the side, almost falling off, and he's just going to take his foot and just kick him down on the ground. And then he's going to turn his attention onto his friend and going to go to aid him soon after. And you hear nothing from Sir Ned, just silent death.
Awesome. So you essentially just watch blood flow from this creature, this humanoid creature, lathering the icy floor beneath with the fiery light, essentially dancing in the pool of blood. So it brings us back around to me. So 1d4 to okay. So unfortunately, he's going back after the same person. All right. So this creature that is still left, his lip still missing, as you guys know him, the bold guy. It almost doesn't seem to faze him that this guy essentially died in front of him. He looks over and licks almost where his lips should have been, and then goes back to attack Yoko. So you said he has disadvantage, correct?
Yes.
So 18 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
All right. So then you are going to take. Let me grab food. 12 points of damage.
Ooh. All right.
And then we will go to you, Yoko.
Yoko's seeing that the pike ain't the best weapon for this close combat, throws it to the ground, and goes forward and just punches the or tries to punch the bald guy twice.
Interesting.
And first one is a 20 to hit, and the second one is a 9.
All right, so the first one will hit. The second one will go very wide.
Yeah. The first one is a 10 for damage, 6 plus 4.
Cool.
And then using a key point, she's going to do 2 more unarmed attacks on him and just keep trying to pummel this guy. And that is
so you're going to try to attack again?
Yeah, 2 more unarmed attacks. And that's going to be a 18 and a 26.
So both of those will hit.
For, holy cow, 2 more 6s, so that is 20 damage.
Holy schnuckers. Okay. Damn, y'all are doing better than I had hoped. Okay. Awesome. So he is definitely bleeding. The blood is kind of pooling in the back of his mouth, and because of the fact that he has no lips, it can't be held in. So you kind of see the blood kind of flowing from his jagged teeth. And yeah. So then we go over to Jinx. You're muted, hon.
I hope to unmute. So Jinx takes the air and she maneuvers herself to land. She's going to go for landing on his shoulders and dig into him with her feet, talons.
All right. So give me that with disadvantage because the ceiling is a bit lower.
A little tight here.
Yeah, it's a little tighter.
All right. So first one's an 18. Second one's an 11.
All right. So go ahead.
And am I adding dex to that or?
I will let you do so.
Okay, so that'd be it would make it a 14.
All right, so no, still no, barely, but no. His AC is 15, so I almost say as you took to the air and you were able to kind of maneuver on your own, pretty simply. However, when you kind of went to do the lining up to kind of grab him by his shoulders, you kind of misjudged that, and I'd say you ended up grabbing the table that was behind him instead.
Okay, cool.
So then over to Crufix, if he's still there, because I just see a frozen hand. Okay.
Yeah. If I would just look in something up real quick. And unfortunately, I'm not able to sculpt this spell because it's not an evocation spell. Oh. Oh, but I am going to center it on this monster, and I am going to cast Confusion.
All right, so he has to roll something for that, correct?
Each creature in a 10-foot radius fit centered on the creature must succeed in a Wisdom saving throw. DC is 16.
All right, so that would mean Yoko and Jinx, as well as the creature, would have to make this. Oh God, he's surely confused. He got a nat 1.
Okay, and
Which
those
one are we rolling again?
Wisdom.
wisdom.
So, 16.
18.
Add a +3 on your guys' stuff too, because
Oh, yeah.
21.
So,
19.
so they're both fine. So at the start of the creature's turn, it will have to roll a d10 to determine its behavior, and I have the chart right there.
Okay. So
And then
on top of
that will be
bleeding
all I
out, he's confused out of his mind. Now what's going on, Jaren?
That is all I can do, and it won't actually make a difference until that he tries to act. And then
Awesome.
he needs to roll a d10.
Awesome. So then next person in line would be you, Sir Ned.
all right. Alrighty then. You said his AC is 15, right?
Correct.
Okay, so 2 hit. Okay. Prosperity. So 7, 13. 19 points of damage. That kill him?
Oh wow. No. He is barely surviving. He's standing there in whatever confusion state he is, just kind of shaking. The blood is definitely pouring out of his mouth for sure. But I'm almost gonna say because of his confusion, he doesn't.
Can I can I make a bonus action and try shoving him into the fire?
Sure.
Sweet. Okay, so I take my my hammer down, knock him in the head, and then knock him in the chest, and then I'm gonna take my hilt and try just pushing him into the fire. Let's see what I get. I get a natural 1.
All right, so I'm going to say that you end up slipping on the ice and you fall into the fire.
Oh, wonderful.
So you will take, because the only thing I have near me is a D8. You're going to take a D8 of fire damage. 3 points of fire damage.
I am amazing.
And be knocked prone in the fire, so.
All right.
You're knocked prone on fire, and yeah.
Everything's
All
on
right,
fire.
so we are back up to him. I am going to say that he is going to try to attack the closest person, which I still believe is what's his name?
Before he
Yoko?
he has to roll the d10 for the
9.
9. He can act and move normally for this turn. And then at the end of the turn, he can make another Wisdom saving throw DC 16 to end the confusion.
Okay, so then let me roll to see if he is able to hit. I'm pretty sure it hits because it's a 17 on the die plus its modifier.
Oh, yeah. That definitely hits.
So then you're going to take another 12 points of damage.
Ouch.
And yeah, that's for the most part all he's gonna be able to do. The blood is coming down from the top of its head and its mouth. He's acting out of the lust for hunger, more than anything, for sure.
Awesome. Don't forget his DC 16 wisdom saving throw to end the
I really doubt this is gonna. He got an 18, but I doubt he's gonna last.
Yeah,
till
I
this
doubt
next
it's gonna matter.
turn. So he got an 18, but I doubt it's gonna matter.
So is it Yoko's turn?
Yeah, it's Yoko.
All right, she's just gonna go at him again and try to punch him twice again. 23 and a 10.
All right, describe to me
So-
how you kill it, because I'm sure
I
you're
imagine-
gonna roll more than 1 point of damage.
Oh yeah. She just goes straight up, jabs at him, kind of missing, and then just reaches back with that same fist and just shoves his face right into her fist as she punches straight forward, breaking all of his sharpened teeth in. And she just lets him drop to the ground and picks up her pole or her pike after that. Just like, all right, job's done. What's next?
Awesome. So yeah, you guys are out of the encounter. The room itself has a table on the left at which the bold zealot was working, and then there's a couple bed rolls, as well as the campfire in the center.
May I please get out of the fire?
You sure can. I
Thank
hope.
you. Yeah, I don't think I
Nah,
want
he has to
in it.
stay in there.
Yeah, is this my punishment now?
I mean, y'all can force him to stay in the fire. That's fine with me.
I just kind of jab at him with my pike.
I'll just stand up and just get out of the fire and dust it off my armor and see if any of my plants are burnt, which I'm sure some are.
Yeah, I'm sure some are.
I'm not
I
a happy camper.
look at Yoko and kind of give you a once-over, trying to assess how damaged you were, because you seem to be the focus of a lot.
Yeah, she traded blows with this guy, and she's a good bit hurt.
Would you care for a little healing, Yoko?
She looks down at her bruised self, and then she looks up to you, and she just nods and says, "Why, yes, please. That would be lovely."
Awesome. So, I rolled an 8. Nice.
So did you guys want to take a short rest then to recover, or did you guys want to just kind of do a light heal and keep moving?
That's a good question.
Yoko would be fine with just going on after that healing.
Yeah.
Sir Ned will just drop down his pack and stand by the gate and just kind of point down. And then he's going to look at his companions, and you see he's going to touch his head, and then Yoko, I'm just picking all the names right. Yoko, Corvus, and Jinx will all get 5 temporary hit points for 8 hours.
5.
Oh, cool.
Yep, 5. Not very much. I mean, 15 HP technically, but hey, it's not too bad.
Great.
How much was that healing for? I didn't quite
Plus
hear
9.
you. 9. All right.
I did put it for you, just so you know.
You see Ebony fly over to Ned and pluck at one of the burnt leaves and goes, "Ah, you provided a cooked meal for me." And so she starts kind of nibbling on egg in that peckish fashion on the a leaf.
Ned, being a Green Knight, will be no stranger to animals such as this, so he's going to bend over real slow in his pack and pull out some rations, which I can imagine would be nuts and seeds, and leave it on his shoulder for him.
Nice, she would land on your shoulder and just gently be pecking at the food. Then she shoots a glare over at Corvus, goes, "For a gnome, you sure don't remember when it's dinner time. I thought you small folk liked your comforts." And Corvus just kind of shrugs and looks around like, this isn't the place to be eating.
All right, so what do you guys do? You guys are essentially in a circular room. The fire is blazing in the center of the room that Sir Ned just essentially crawled out of. There's a couple of bedrolls, and there's a table on the left side of the room. Are you heading out of the room to go that other route? What's going on?
Jinx will go over to the table and kind of inspect the goings on, riffle quickly through the bedrolls and things. She's not looking for money or anything. She's just looking for clues about something else entirely. So she's just kind of looking to see if there's any, journals or, I don't know, just kind of stuff that might be of interest to her.
Give me an investigation. There's a lot of stuff on the table.
And can I help her do this too?
The question is, would you know what she's looking for?
Actually, then I'm going to take a look at the bodies and see if I can figure out who they were, and if this is something that's like, if it's definitely undead, of course. I hope I'd be able to recognize that. And just see how old they were, if I can tell how long they've been down here.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check as well.
Oh, yeah.
So what did you get, Chris? For whatever reason, I can't hear you, Chris. All right, I think I heard you sigh for a second.
I heard that too.
Nope. I saw your lips move. Nope. Are you using some sort of microphone or anything? Oh, Snowball!
Okay, how about now?
There we go.
I don't know why that keeps happening to me. Just all of a sudden, nothing.
And now I can't hear you for nothing. I'm assuming it's just the wire. The wire's probably going back to the Snowball.
Okay. While with experiencing technical difficulties with its quiz, Corvus would be looking over the bodies as well. Mostly looking for any kind of religious symbols that he might be somewhat familiar with.
All right, awesome. Well, so while you do that, we'll go over to Sir Ned. What did you roll? Oh, was that 14 for that investigation?
Yes, sir. And even higher if you let me do medicine, but it's investigation.
Well, why don't you describe to me what exactly you're trying to do, and possibly I'll let you slide with medicine.
I'm trying to figure out exactly one for how old they were, how they died, and if this looks like something that's like necrotic, like necromancy, like they were killed and then brought back, or if there's maybe a curse here that's causing them to become this.
All right, fine. I'll let you slide with medicine.
Oh, okay. That brings me up to an 18.
All right. So you can definitely tell that it was blood force trauma that caused their death. You know, the whole fact that you sledgehammered them, you know, in the head. But they were human. And Chris dropped. Okay. But they seem to be pretty much human.
Oh, so they were human. So something was keeping them alive with like really terrible wounds. Then.
Yeah, essentially, if we go meta here, they were just cannibals. That's why as soon as you guys walked in, they said fresh meat.
Oh, cool.
But for the most part, yeah, they seem to have been down here for quite some time. But you know, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna make a Verizon reference, but yeah.
Good. Okay. So it was 16, and I don't know if you saw my note.
All right. Once I and Corden are done looking at the bodies, can I just chuck them in the fire?
You want to jump in the fire?
No, chuck them in the fire. Not me this time.
Oh, I said I seriously heard you want to jump in the fire. I'm like, I mean, you can. Yeah, you go ahead. I don't really care. But that'll be after Corfez gets his thing. But Jinx, you're gonna be scrambling across this table. You are going to notice a single document that has what you can only assume is your parents' names on them. It seems to have been burned on the bottom right-hand side, burning off some of the more important details of, like it'll be like, your parents' name is on the list, and it's just like go to, and then it's burned, and then it's just like and bring, and then it's burned. So it's a lot of random stuff.
Cool.
And then over to Jaren, you said you were looking for holy symbols?
Yes. Given he actually has a background as an acolyte, before he trained with his mentor, and I rolled a total of 25.
All right, so which one are you gonna look at first? I'd say. Are you gonna look at the bald one that was closer to the table, or the one that was in the bedroll that Ned was looking at?
Probably the bald one that was closer to the table. Corfez is a gnome. He doesn't really care for work.
So you'd examine his body. I'd say you probably checked his arms and his legs, probably flipped them over, and on his back there is a symbol that you know. What does that symbol look like?
I imagine that it's kind of a red. It's just this dagger that's almost dripping blood, but the hilt of the dagger is kind of unique in that there's a rose with thorns twisting around it. And it looks like the very tip is almost two fangs coming down.
Interesting.
And Kurfist seeing this goes pale white and just starts shaking his head. And Ebony seems to get rather agitated as well. And she immediately flies back to Kurfist, lands on his shoulder, starts nuzzling against his neck, obviously trying to calm themselves both down.
Awesome. So that is what you find on the lower back of this guy. I will say though that with this mark, it is like scratched through by like knife slashes through that mark, almost as if the person was trying to eradicate it from their body. But yeah, so we have been going for about an hour and a half. So if everybody's cool with just taking a quick couple minute bio break, we're probably about halfway done. So
we should just take a little short rest here, I guess, while we're all doing this.
Yeah.
If you guys want to take, if you guys want to take a short rest for your characters, you guys can. It's not necessary, but you know, this will be the only chance that I will give you to do that.
Yeah, I think the situation would probably call for at least a partial short rest, as calming everyone down and etc.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so then we will take a quick couple minute break. Not too long, because I have to be up super early. But yeah.
I'm here. Anybody here?
I'm here.
All right.
I'm semi here.
Same.
I just imagined this whole time that y'all were doing all that, Yoko's just sitting there at the fire staring at it, like how my character is in the picture.
Nice.
It's like, yep, all in a day's work, punching people in the face,
Once,
Even though she'd...
sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, once Jinx is done, she would go to the fire as well and try to warm up from that blast of air. And she looks really lost in thought.
Interesting. So
Staring.
what do you guys think so far?
Match her feathers.
I love how I'm supposed to be proficient at using weapons, and instead it takes me punching a guy to death. Just like, I'm going to be a monk that's good at stabbing things with long-range melee weapons. Nope, gotta punch him.
I love how my dice always pick me.
Yeah, I loved how I raised it basically another fourth level spell, and the DM rolled like one of the only two numbers on a D10 that makes the spell useless.
That is pretty good. Yeah, so far so good. I'm liking it.
So compared to when it was randomized, where I didn't know what the hell I was doing, compared to the little bit of prep that I was able to do, can you tell that this is a completely different story?
So much better.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I do wish we had a bit more time. Because I know that's kind of cutting it into all of us role playing some.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is what it is. We're still getting our moments in this. So.
Well, all right. Well, seeing as everyone is back, did you guys want to jump back in?
Yes. Sure. And I imagine as we're jumping back in, we've been kind of resting for a while. And the entire time, Corvus has taken one of his daggers and he is just repeatedly stabbing this ball. Zealot that's already dead. And while Ebony's trying to calm him down.
What is he stabbing?
The dead ball guy.
Oh, okay. So as he's doing that, I'm gonna come over, and if he allowed me, I'll put my hand on his hand, to hopefully move the body, and then he'd notice with the other one, I threw it into the fire, and I prayed to my God, and obviously not verbally, because I can't do that. But I was praying and put each body to rest. So if he allowed me to, I'll take the next one from him.
Yeah, I think in just you touching him would calm him slightly, almost at like right as he starts to bring down the dagger, like right. I almost was on your hand, but aiming for the guy below. Oh, and then he realizes what's going on and kind of jerks back and shakes his head, and Ebony just in a really disturbed voice says, "We've seen that symbol. Oh, it brings death."
And Sir Knight, as you do that, he takes off his head and he gives a very kind and very sullen look to you, almost a little bit worried and compassionate, and nods. And then he just takes the body and throws it onto the fire, and you see he bends down for a second on his hands and knees and basically prays, puts his head down, and comes back up.
And I imagine this would be a good time to play on one of Corfiz's flaws, response, and make she sees awful visions as well. So Diab?
When you throw that second body on the fire, Jinx abruptly gets up and walks away and puts her back to the fire.
The
Yoko would
ice
just still
slowly
be staring at it. Oh,
And then,
sorry.
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 All right. Well, actually, so this one actually, I'm going directly to you, so this might work out. So, Sir Ned, as soon as he gets up and seeing that you're staring at the fire, he'll come to you and put his hand on your shoulder and basically give you this like almost worried look, like you sometimes see that he has, and just kind of gives you a questioning look, like, "Are you okay?" But not speaking.
Yoko would kind of look up and just nod and say, "I'm fine. Just a little bit tired, is all."
And does Yoko still have any noticeable damage on him?
At this point, after resting for a while, she looks completely fine. Maybe a couple bruises, but that's about it.
So then Sir Ned will pick up his pack and turn his back to all of you and just basically stand there at the hallway on his hands on weapons. And that's where he'll remain.
All right, so what are y'all doing? Are y'all leaving to take the other route?
At this point, Yoko would stand up, ready her pike, and kind of just walk over to Sir Ned and stand next to him and just look at the other two, waiting on them.
Jinx will fall in line at that, keeping her eyes averted from the fire.
And said Sir Ned, looking back at please tell me if I'm saying your name right, Jaren. Corfis?
Yeah, Corfiz.
Okay, looking back at Corfis, can I see anything going on with Corfis?
You see him start to get up, and Ebony just it is the name Ragnar. And Corfis nods. And then Ebony says, "The answer must be here. We should go." And for those that have traveled with Corfis for a while would know Ragnar was the name of his mentor that was killed. And that probably by now they pieced together that they saw the same symbol the night his mentor was killed.
Cool. So as you leave this room, the heat of the fire quickly escapes your body, and the cold begins to overcome your beings once again. As you continue down the hall that you guys had already been walking, you reach a doorway. And on that doorway is very broken common, of which it reads, "If you speak my name, you destroy me. What am I?" And as you read those words, you begin to see as a light bluish green fog immerses from the floor and from the walls. Everything, so mechanically, all of your weapons will be one hit die less than what they are. So if it's a D8, then it becomes a D6. If it's a D6, it becomes a D4. And if your weapons, for whatever reason, are a D4, they are completely destroyed as a noxious cloud of smoke essentially embodies your every waking breath. Your entire being is encumbered by this gas.
Yeah, never mind.
Can I try casting Lesser Restoration, see if it destroys this gas or no?
I mean, you can try.
I guess it's not really a spell, though. It's not a condition. Never mind. No, that wouldn't work. Never mind. Don't have to destroy curse either. Oh, well.
Orpheus holds up his staff, and he is going to attempt to cast the spell magic, assuming that this is some kind of magical effect. And the way the spell magic works is within 140 feet. Creature, object, or magical effect within range, which I'm choosing the gas. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target area ends. Any spell 4th level or higher makes an ability check using wisdom. And the DC equals 10 plus the spell's level.
So as you so describe to me what physical properties would partake in you casting that.
I would imagine, and
because a lot of those have a visual, a verbal thing, don't they?
yeah, and he uses ebony as his verbal. Oh, and you just hear her chanting, "Be gone, be gone!" And he starts spinning his staff, very much similar to what a monk would do, only not quite as gracefully. And I imagine what it looks like if it works is almost like he's creating a gust of wind blowing the smoke away.
Well, it's definitely not magic. For sure it's not magic, but I was just curious what it looked like as you do this. So once again, what pops into your guys' head is the phrasing that was on the doorway. If you speak my name, you destroy me. What am I?
So Sir Ned, seeing this is a verbal thing, just plops on the ground, sitting his weapons, and just looking at the rest of his companions.
Yoko not being the brightest of people would just be...
You're muted. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But Yoko not being the brightest of people would just be thinking it over and over and being like, what weapon would answer this? Just thinking, there must be a way to stab at this. With her total of 8 intelligence. Sorry.
That's okay. Jinx starts pacing back and forth in the doorway. Just, she's thinking and trying to riddle it out.
And you can see Corpus is just kind of reading the words and seems to be pondering on, but Ebony isn't saying anything. at the moment.
Okay.
Yoko then begins just
Irony at its
tapping
finest.
her staff on the floor, just repeatedly thinking, not really paying attention to what she's doing, probably tapping it really loudly on the floor, making a bunch of noise.
Ned starts pointing to himself.
Jinx looks at you and she says, "Silence."
That's my best bet.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
Yes!
As I
Let's
was
take it.
really hoping. Yeah. All right. Y'all suck.
I'm RPing my character. She's not Sprite.
As
There's mine.
you speak that towards your fellow colleague, it's almost as if the fog stops in its very tracks. You know, like normal fog, even though it stays the same, you can see the spirals of itself kind of filling in its own gaps. But all of a sudden, it just stops. It completely freezes. And upon it freezing, it begins to collapse on itself, falling into the floor. And everywhere around you begins to shake. And in the distance of the room that you haven't even completely gotten into, you begin to hear like that stone against stone kind of lifting noise.
Mm.
But that's all you guys hear.
I look at Sir Ned. Well done, my friend.
I guess he kind of gave you a look. Like, I know. But he would look around, and so we cannot see where the stone on stone sound is coming from.
No, because you necessarily haven't completely even entered the room.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna head up to the front door, and I'm just gonna wait for my comrades. As soon as I think it'll be Yoko who stands right next to me, I'm gonna walk in there with him. But I can definitely tell it's coming from the direction of the door that just opened in the hoopty.
All right. Upon entering this room, it's a pretty vast room. It's rectangular in nature. Length is probably a good 80 to 90 feet wide, 30 to 40 feet, or 80 feet in length and about 40 feet in width. In the center of it, there is a big stone slab that has been broken into or it seems to have corroded over time, but there doesn't appear to be anything on top of it. To the left, in the farther left corner, it does seem that there has been some sort of opening in that direction.
Just really quickly, as I stand in this room, I'm just going to use Divine Sense. And basically all that means that within 60 feet of this room, I can just sense if there's any undead in here, or celestial fiend, or, yeah.
In this room in particular, no.
Okay, perfect. Just looking around, just nod.
So yeah, I mean, for the most part, this is just a ginormous empty room at this point because you guys got rid of the gas.
So Yoko's seeing a large open area, immediately puts up her pike, and just yanks out the halberd, kind of smiling, and just begins walking around the like a good distance away from the group and just twirling the halberd above her, just waiting on something to pop out so she can either cut or stab it.
And nothing really seems to happen. The ceiling itself is rather high, but I mean, realistically, the only things that you guys really see is the ginormous stone slab in the center, and what you can only realistically assume is that stone shifting opening that's in the far left hand side.
All right, Sir Ned will begin heading in that direction then.
Jinx will follow Sir Ned, I guess.
Yoko would be right beside Sir Ned, kind of just halberd at the ready, and yeah.
And Corpus and Ebony take the normal spot at the rear.
By the way, do our weapons go back to doing the regular damage? Or is
Nope.
it still a one die? Okay.
It's permanent. Essentially, if we talk meta, it was like a noxious cloud that drops the single die in damage. Each weapon, single. Oh man, I didn't even read that far. And all of your guys' armor takes a permanent -1 to its armor class.
What if we're not wearing armor?
Yeah, I feel like the monk got the better end of the deal in this one in spellcasters.
Yeah. Plus, I have my fists, so does that lower the damage on my fists?
Fists are what, 1d4?
For monk right now, it's a
marsh
1d6
weapons.
right now.
So then I guess you'll just do 1d4. So you'll just drop one damage die.
I think we're doing too much damage. So he punished us. All right, but Sir Ned's heading in that hole. One damage die less. I don't care. I'm still gonna smash their faces.
But yeah, you guys are able to head on in. About 20 feet down that hallway, there appears to be almost an elbow worth, where it seems to have been, kind of at that angle. And then like right here, there seems to be a slight opening. It's only about a foot to 1.5 feet wide. So it isn't, the biggest space, but I mean, if someone wants to either try to get through or take off their armor to try to get through, they can.
No need, Ebony can fit.
All right. So Ebony, go ahead.
Corpus would just point at the opening and Ebony would fly eye through, and then he will use a familiar feature that allows him to see through Ebony's eyes if it's within 120 feet.
All right, for sure. Oh, excuse me. She's able to fly down this path. It spans about 40 to 50 feet, and then it opens into this wide room. There doesn't really appear to be too much in this room. There is a lot of jagged like sub rooms, I guess you can say, where they're like triangular in nature, like grooves in the room itself. There appears to be a couple of tables throughout that room itself. but there aren't necessarily any. There's no one in the room.
Okay, after a quick answer that, she would fly back and relate what she saw to the group. Group and Clifford just kind of shrugs, like, okay, empty room. And then kind of points down the path.
Yoko would kind of step forward looking at the gap. Oop, sorry.
That's okay.
You go ahead. Yoko would kind of step forward looking at the gap. And oh, I'm sorry. I thought you... All right. So Yoko would step forward looking at the gap, take off both of her pole arms, kind of set them down, and try to fit herself in there. And just try to go through this gap.
Okay, so you will be able to do so. You won't be able to get any of your weapons, or I guess you don't have any armor, but you will be able to slide through at that point. Does anybody want to follow Yoko, or are you guys gonna leave Yoko all by himself?
I peek in after Yoko and just say, is there any need for us to follow?
She looks ahead and thinks, I'll call you if I need you.
And
I
Swordhead
hope I
will
don't need to.
pick up your pikes that you dropped and then just hand them to you through the crack.
She'll grab both, put the pike on her back and just hold the halberd out, looking around in the room.
Awesome. So you're going to be able to enter this little area, and then, like I said, you're able to get into that room, and like I said, it's going to have like the couple of outcovings that are triangular in nature, but at that center triangular outcropping, there is a big wooden table that appears to have where did it go? Where did it go? Of course, right when I need you, you disappear. A crown on it.
Seeing the crown, she cautiously approaches, and with the wooden end of her halberd, she'll reach for it and try to get it up onto the pole of the halberd, not wanting to actually physically touch it, just in case.
Of course. Yeah. So you're able to do so. You can tell that this crown has been molded and made by the bones of the dead and has been covered in ice from simply from just like simply sitting there. So Yoko, you have essentially become the owner of the crown of bone and ice. So if you have like 2 seconds to write something down, I can let you know what it does.
I have a pencil.
All right. So once per day, the wearer may give a simple command to an undead creature who must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the simple command.
All right. So as she's looking at it on her halberd, she kind of just like grabs hold of it and would to her pack, kind of walk back to the look through, slide her halberd and pike back through to the other end, and try to make her way back in through.
All right, go ahead and give me a straight D20.
Just dropped it on the floor. That is a natural 1.
Oh God. Okay. You know what's really sad is I had the DC at like 5, so that's really bad. So kind of crawling through the spacing. Let me roll this. Oh God. Okay, so you're gonna be somewhat okay. You begin to hear cracking of the ice and the stone that surrounds you, and at watching the walls surrounding the space that you are crawling out of, the stone itself is even cracking along with the ice.
Ooh.
Is he close
Immediately
enough for
she
me to
would-
reach or grab?
Pardon?
Is she close enough for me to grab?
Oh yeah. I mean, essentially, she's pretty much gotten through. It's just rolling in that one to try to go through caused some negative effects.
At getting out, she kind of just like steps a few feet back, kind of cautious of the cracked stone and ice. But then after it reaches into her bag and pulls out the crown, showing it to the group. I believe this might be one of the things we're looking for, if it's the correct crown.
Well, I'm glad one of us could get in there then. Well done.
Thank you.
All right. So are you guys proceeding into the next room, or what's going on?
I'll
Yoko
pick it
would.
up.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I'll go with Yoko, and we'll go. Next room.
All right, yeah, Yoko would just pick up her pike and all her other her halberd and just re-put them back into their like holders on her back and just put the crown back into the pack and follow Sir Ned.
And Sir Ned will kind of shoot you another worried look. He'll kind of pick up his faceplate a little bit, put it back down.
Awesome. So as you guys, I'm assuming everybody's going, correct? Awesome. So as you guys kind of approach this next open space, this spacing is massive. If your eyes could do the math for you, it's more than all the rooms that you had previously encountered combined. In the center of this room is a staircase that is that L staircase that leads up to what would appear to be a ginormous iced chair made completely of ice. And on that chair lies a corpse. That corpse has a crown resting upon it. What do you guys do?
Just really quickly, can I use my divine sense?
I mean, you can. I don't know what that does because I
It
forget.
lets me know if there's anything undead nearby, celestial fiend.
Yeah, no, you would get the sense of you would start to feel that, yes.
All right, beautiful. So then, as soon as I see that, you just see Sir Ned takes out two weapons, battle axe and battle hammer, and then you see they both just turn into bright, glowing white flames. And you'll see him crack his neck, and he'll look to Yoklo.
Yoko would kind of just stretch out, reach for the halberd, grab it by the neck, pull it out, spin it to where it's standing in one hand, and just slam the end of it into the ground, and just stand there next to Sir Ned, ready for whatever may be coming.
Is there anything up in the room, like pillars that I can perch on, or platform, or something up above our heads?
I would say that there probably is at least one.
Okay.
This room is massive, and without proper lighting, other than like the couple torches that are throughout the room, it's kind of hard to really distinguish a lot of the stuff that is in the room. But you are able to see at least one.
Okay. So, and it's how close is it? Close to the door where we're at, or is it further out?
So I'd say it is almost at the edge of your vision. Yeah, so it's almost at the edge of your vision between, well, like the midpoint between where you see the staircase and where you are now. So
Okay.
it's in between where you are at now and what you would see as the staircase.
Okay. For now then, I'm going to hang back, draw my bow, knock an arrow, and take a position just inside the door where I can watch what's happening and be ready to back up, provide cover for these guys.
You see Kuvit just kind of point up the steps towards this body. A nods and holds his staff almost as if like he's ready to fight, even though he's not a fighter by any means. Just as kind of a symbol, yeah, he's ready.
Alright, so what's everybody doing? I mean, at this point, y'all are just kind of standing in the doorway, not approaching, not doing anything. Nothing's happening.
All right, if you want something, I'll give you something. So Sir Ned will walk forward since he knows that this thing is undead. He's gonna be a douche, and so I am going to walk forward, and then I'm just gonna take my hammer up and I'm gonna raise it, and then on the creature I'm gonna cast Moonbeam, which you'll see as bright ethereal light will just come down from the ceiling and start hitting this undead. So he has to roll a con save of 14. If he makes it, he takes half damage, and I also tell you it is radiant damage as well.
So you're climbing the staircase to the top.
Oh, I didn't know it was a staircase. Well then, that changes things. So I'm gonna climb the staircase then.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I said there's an L staircase that leads up to the frozen chair,
Gotcha.
of which is the skeletal body.
Actually,
that
no,
has
I'll
a
wait on
crown.
the bottom, and I will cast the Moonbeam on him, though, to make him come down to us.
So how does Moonbeam work then?
He must make a con save. 14, if he makes it above 14, he takes half damage. But I also want to let you know it is radiant damage. And so basically I create a 40-foot high cylinder of light, and I can move it up to 60 feet any direction.
All right, let me see what is the additives for.
It's only gonna die.
So 17.
Okay, so he made it, so he's still gonna take half damage. But it's not dead. That shouldn't do it too big. He is gonna take 15 points of radiant damage. Half that, so that would be 7 points of radiant damage.
All right, because I'm not going to be able to keep track of this, I am going to use calculator. And so you said it's like a cylinder type thing, right?
Yes, sir.
So as this radiant light kind of shines down into this cavity, it engulfs this skeletal frame, illuminating the massive room, getting the attention of a couple of more humanoid creatures that had been in the room, as well as a skeletal being that was lying in wait. As this radiant beam kind of flows into this creature that had been sitting down on the central throne, you'd see, or you'd hear the rattling of bone against bone as he stands up abruptly. I'm trying to see if there's like a proper description of the Frozen King, but I don't really see one. A cold essence emanating from his very being. The the light blue that was in his eyes begins to glow even bluer. Let's see. So yeah, everybody roll for initiative.
$19.
If someone doesn't mind organizing the initiative for me. Yoko, yours was 19, right?
Yes.
So then essentially all the monsters are going last. Cool.
Yes.
We like that.
Yeah, that works out for you guys. So, Jinx, what are you doing? This room is ginormous. Essentially, from the radiant light that had shined down, there's essentially a couple, three other creatures that have been essentially illuminated in the room, other than what was primarily being targeted by Ned's divine light. So yeah.
And what's the position of the other three additional creatures in relation to us and the thing on the throne?
So the two humanoids, I'd say are about one movement away from you guys, or one, I guess, turn away from you guys. And then the undead skeletal creature is probably within 20 to 30 feet from you guys.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna take aim at the closest one. I'm going to cast Hail of Thorns, which won't activate until my next turn. And I'm gonna shoot it. So let's see, 15.
Yeah, no, that will hit.
Finally got a hit. Okay. And that will be 4 damage.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah, well, you know, the 6 now. 6-sided die now. So.
All right. So then Yoko.
So Yoko, seeing the two closest being the humanoids, would
The closest would be the undead.
Oh, the undead is closest to us? All right. So I'm seeing that one
Yes,
is the closest. She would
Yeah.
start running towards it, and at the end of her run, at exactly about 8 feet away from it, she would just whip the halberd around and try attempting to slash right into it from the side. And that is going to be a 19 to hit, or 18 to hit, sorry.
That will hit. Don't forget, you do
And that
have
is-
the crown.
And that is a 10 for damage.
All right.
And as she does that, then she's going to use the momentum to move her forward a little bit more and just kick right at it with her second attack. And that's going to be a 16 to hit with that
That will hit.
for 8 damage with a d4 on 4.
Okay.
And one key point to, again, just doing this all in one movement, she's going to try to kick it 2 more times.
Damn.
For
Okay.
for a 20 and a 11.
All right. So the first one will hit, the second one won't.
And that is 6 more damage. As she just spins around using the weight of the halberd to just kick it just twice in the chest.
All right.
And that'll be my turn.
Damn. Okay. So Corpus.
Corpus seeing the monk handling the skeleton will move off to the side to try to position the two humanoids in a line him, and and you see his staff start glowing almost this bluish white, and he is going to cast lightning bolt. So they both, if I can line them up, because it's a 100-foot line and 5 feet wide. Any creature in it must make a dex saving throw. DC 16. On a failed save, they take 8d6 lightning damage and half on a success. And it ignites any flammable objects in the area that Mourner carried.
So they got the worst rolls of the game. I got 2 nat 1s for the 2 humanoids.
Whoa!
So roll damage and
so that will be
double.
42 lightning damage. So double would be 44 on each of them.
Oh shit!
And
Holy moly!
Kofi just smiles as he's seeing smoke wisping off of these bodies. Hopefully,
Yeah, no.
dropping.
They fall. That I was not expecting that at all. Him. Yeah, no. Yeah. You essentially fry them into oblivion. So essentially, the only thing that is left is what can only be assumed to be the Frozen King. So then Ned.
Alrighty. That camera's off. Good. So is the Frozen King close enough for me to actually run up and beat the living hell of him?
I mean, you sure can try.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna be smarter about this. I'm gonna just ready my action as soon as he comes down to the very bottom. That's when I'm actually gonna take my attacks on him. But for right now, I'm just gonna allow. Since I guess he's just standing there, he's still in my light, so I'm gonna roll damage again. And yes, roll con again. Hardy
he does?
Yeah, the thing stays for 1 minute.
Oh, damn.
I'm sorry.
All right, so 25. So
wow, yeah, he definitely made that one. And I rolled a freaking 5 to damage, so he takes 2 points of damage. Yep. And yep. So I'm still. Yep. I'm just readying my action. So as soon as he comes down here, and he's within hitting range, let me know.
all right. Well, essentially, he's the only one left. So let me grab his stats real quick. Because I was really not expecting y'all to go through him that quickly. All right. So his eyes glowing bright comes down the steps. And I guess seeing as you said you were standing at the base of the steps, Ned, he is going to attack you.
So that means he is coming in range for me to hit him, though, right?
I mean, technically, yes.
Then I'm going to attack his ass back.
So you want to do your attack first?
Well, yeah, sure. Since he's coming in my area. All right, I got 1 natural 20, I got 1 16, and I also got 1 11.
All right, so the only one that's going to hit is the net 20.
Beautiful. Okay, so it's 1d6, 1d4. By the way, this is all radiant. My weapon now has radiant damage as well. I don't know if it's important. He's gonna take. So a second, I have to roll with my new dice because I got smaller stuff. 8. He takes 11 points of radiant damage.
All right, just 11.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Because my other one missed. Well, I mean, if it's critical, I don't know. You decide what to do with that, but. Anticlimactic.
Okay. All right. So then he is going to attack you twice with the Maw of Black Ice. So that's 17 to hit and 20 to hit.
The 20 definitely hits. 11 does not.
I said 17.
Oh, 17? That's right on my AC. Right
Okay.
on my-
I believe your AC is actually 16 because of the -1 from the fog.
17 actually, because I have my what do you call it? Defensive fighting style, and then I also have my dueling. So.
Well, nonetheless, you're gonna take 32 points of bludgeoning damage.
And there we go. So I imagine, I guess, as he hits him, it's gonna knock Ned back, and you see he's gonna hold his ground though, and he's just going to have his weapons at his side. Stoic. Actually.
All right, so then we'd come back around to the top of the order with Jinx.
Back to me. So I fly up to that pillar we talked about earlier and take aim with my bow. Let's see what I can get here. Oh, crud. This is going to be a miss. It's a 10.
Yeah, that's definitely a miss.
Arrow just, yep, soars over his head and flies off into the ice. I draw another one and just wait.
Yoko.
Yoko, seeing her traveling companion of a good while being attacked by this undead, will rush forward, get behind him, and just swing the halberd with all of her might, attempting to just slam it into him. And that is going to be a 18 to hit.
Barely.
And that is an 8 on die, so 12 damage as the halberd slashes right through him. And then using my second attack, again, same as the last foe I hit, I'm going to attempt to kick him. And, oh, don't drop it on the floor. And that's going to be a 21 to hit with the kick.
That'll hit.
6 damage. And a key point to get 2 more unarmed attacks.
Damn, okay.
First one is a 26 with a 19 on die. So I'm going to roll damage for that. That is a 7 damage with that. The next roll is a nat 1.
Oh, God. I'm trying to figure out how that would work.
I just imagine the weight of the halberd and being on the steps. She just slips and falls. Smacks her head right in the stairs.
All right, yeah, so that'll happen, and then you'll take 1d12 damage from falling, and you'll be prone. So you'll take 10 points of damage and be knocked prone.
Want me to roll, or are you going to roll?
No, I said you'll take 10 points of damage and be knocked prone.
Oh, okay. All right, I did not hear that, but all right. Also, since I did use a unarmed attack, I do have that +2 AC from my Kensei weapon, along with that.
Mhm.
So, hopefully, that'll protect me from anything that might come at me while I'm right here
Realistically,
behind him.
as far as what you know, the Frozen King is all that's left.
All right. And that'll be my turn.
Awesome. Corvus?
Okay, I would like to move if possible, up to 30 feet and position the Frozen King to where I'll strike only him and using Lightning Bolt again.
Roll me a d20. If it is odd, you'd be able to find a proper position.
Nice. The first time I needed to roll odd instead of even, and I get an odd. I rolled a 5.
Cool.
So he needs to make a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
18.
Okay, so the lightning bolt will strike him for only 15 damage instead of the 30 it should have done.
Okay.
So I imagine maybe Acuff is just he's positioned correctly, but he's maybe a little bit too far back, so he's getting the very tail end of the lightning bolt instead of like a solid hit.
Awesome. So then Ned.
All right, Ned will, as he kind of gets sent flying back, he sees he's going to dash at his opponent again, and it's game again the same. He's going to try hitting him, but this time he's going to throw a little something extra for him. So let's see if I actually do. 19 and not a natural 20, and then a 15, but 15 does not hit, correct?
Yeah, 15 won't hit.
Okay, so what about the 19 and the not natural 20? Modified 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Perfect. And so as he hits the creature, you see there's a bright flash of light as he also inspires his god. Spend one of my spell slots. Oh, I love rolling this much dice. Uh, 26 points of radiant damage as he just takes his two weapons and just smashes it onto the creature's chest.
Damn. Okay. You guys
Divine
are
smite,
definitely
baby.
giving them the business for sure.
And okay, here's a question for you. My laying on hands doesn't actually tell me what it takes. So what would you have any like your own rule if it's like a bonus action, or oh no, never mind to say. Never mind. We're good. Misread. That's end of my turn then.
Okay.
Sounds spectacular.
So then it would be back at the Frozen King's turn. So he will once again take his multi-attack against you, Ned. You seem to be keeping his attention.
Good.
For sure.
Ned is doing his job.
So I got 17 and
Yes.
modified 20.
Yeah.
All right, so then I didn't do this before, so I won't qualify it from the prior. But you're also supposed to take cold damage whenever I hit you with his maw. So 5, 9.
That's considered a spell, right?
It's qualified as magic, yes.
Sweet. So I'll have resistance against that, along with all my buddy old pals.
Okay, so then that would mean you would take half, correct?
Si, senor.
All
You just have the
right, so
just have the cold damage, not of the regular attack.
36 points of damage.
Yep. This is getting dangerous. It's a dangerous game we're playing. All right. Ned is still standing after this brutal 2 hits, but you could probably see his armor and his chest is starting to crumple in, and blood is starting to come from his mouth, but he's not giving up, not shaken.
And then we are back at the top with Jinx.
Oh, my Hell of Thorns is still in effect, so I'm going to try to hit him this time.
Ned will give you a look of like, please.
Keep forgetting too that I have a bonus. So 11, 16.
That won't hit.
Damn, he is hard to hit.
Yes, very much so, actually.
So Jinx flies off of the pillar and lands near Ned and Yoko and draws her short swords.
Awesome. So then after Yoko is, if I'm not mistaken, Yoko. After Jinx is Yoko.
All right. Yoko, seeing her companion get hurt even worse, is going to throw the halberd down, run right up behind the Frozen King, and just throw 2 quick jabs right into his back for a. I'm bad at math. 25 and 20.
Those will both hit.
For 10 damage in total from those 2.
Okay.
And then another key point to get 2 more unarmed attacks.
How many key points do you have left?
After this, 4.
Damn.
I got all the ones I spent earlier back from a rest.
Oh,
So that's
right.
a 10 or a 20 and a 17.
All right, so the 20 will hit, the 17 won't.
All right. And that is 6 more damage as I just punch him in the back 3 times. In total.
He's definitely, I mean, he's a skeleton, so I don't know how well you'd be able to distinguish whether or not he's doing well, but he's not doing well.
Can we play
however,
xylophones on his ribs still?
I mean, you could try.
I mean, I'd imagine after a bit of damage, they're kind of gone. And that'll be my turn after that.
Awesome. So then, Orphis.
Okay, seeing Ned's pretty beat up at this point, and I'm wondering how you would roll it. What I would like to do is grab one of my healing potions and toss it over towards Ned. Whether you count it as a free action, bonus action, or full action remains to be seen.
Well, I mean, I'd say you'd be able to throw it over. However, I don't think Ned would have been paying attention.
Just open it up and force it down my mouth. Just yeah.
Well, depending on the type of action it takes is what I'm wondering. If it's a standard action to get it out and toss it out, just move over and basically force feed it to him.
Well, if you're trying to force feed it to him, it would be an action. Because that would actually involve you engaging with another character.
Yeah, if it's tossing it to him is like a bonus action.
Yeah, I would have said it's a bonus action if you're just trying to toss it to him.
Then I
if you're
would
trying
just toss it to him and then position myself to use my last level 3 slot for another lightning bolt.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Oh god.
And I rolled a 9.
Yeah, no.
9, so I should be able to find a good position.
Yeah.
And so the Frozen King will need to make another DC 16 Wisdom saving throw.
25.
Okay, so he will take 14 damage this time. I'm at another lightning bolt is him, and I imagine I'm just seeing steam coming off of his. Oh, nice.
That's what he had left. So,
dang it! I was gearing up for one last hurrah.
Nice.
So that
And
so describe this.
Any of my level 2s or most of my level 1 slots. So I imagine and Kufis strikes him right in the face with the lightning bolt, and it just starts melting in him, leaving nothing but the crown. Laying right there on the step, right at Ned's feet. Right next to the potion that I just tossed at him.
I was ready to roll so many damage dice for him too. Dang it.
Yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious. He rolled 14 damage, and that's exactly what he had left.
That's half. Half. I rolled 28.
Yeah.
On a save to get half.
That's still pretty awesome.
Yeah. I only took maybe 3 offensive spells that did any type of real damage. And Lightning Bolt was definitely a good choice.
I think at the Frozen King just falling to the ground, Yoko would just watch as the body crumples, and she would just reach out and try to grab the crown while it's falling.
Awesome. So you guys are out of combat. This is awesome.
Then I am just gonna take my hammer, and then after he picks up that skull, I'm smashing it, or that crown. I am smashing it.
Smashing the crown or smashing the skull?
The skull. And
Okay.
I will touch myself and heal myself. And that sounds really weird, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I am
there we go.
in Kofi, it's walks up to this puddle of water, and the crown that his companions grabbed, and Ebony, they would just say, "So our search continues." The answer wasn't her.
Ooh, that's a good way to leave it off.
So, I'm sorry. Did Yoko? Did you say that you were holding the crown out to us?
I would have like reached out and grabbed it as it fell, or tried to grab it as it fell.
Okay.
And at this point, I think Yoko would just be staring at the crown in fascination.
Okay. So I'm gonna come over to you and look at it as well. I imagine Jinx would probably reach out and kind of touch it and trace its lines and like just really scrutinize it.
And upon kind of touching it, you get a almost like a flashback, but it wasn't of your memories. It was from whoever, the Frozen King or whoever was in possession of the crown at the time. And you essentially saw your village burning.
Oh.
You saw the skeletal hand outreached towards your village to have it burned. As everyone running across, there's other skeletons and other cannibalistic looking human beings just running down and torching your entire village.
Tears start just running down my face at this vision, and I gasp in almost a painful sound, like something's just deeply hurting me as I watch this unfold.
Oh. Ned will go to Jinx as he sees this and try to console her by putting his arm around her. A little bit confused, but nonetheless, he's a caring man.
So, Yoko, as you kind of hold the crown, and you said you wanted to actually try to put it on.
I was just asking what would happen if I did.
I mean, the question is, are you going to do it? Because if you do it, it's whether or not something happens or not.
You know what? I'm gonna roll to see if I would. Yeah, she's just fascinated by it, and she would just slowly raise it to her head and place it on top of her, and just try to feel whatever was in this crown, if anything left.
And as you kind of put it onto your head, it was almost too big, but then it kind of just like shrinks down to your head, and your entire body becomes cold, but it is not overbearing. It almost becomes second nature. The armor you don't have armor, do you?
No, I'm just wearing simple robes.
Okay, so then your skin begins to freeze over, ice webbing across your chest, creating ice armor. And as the screen begins to fade to black, we zoom into Yoko's face, and her eyes begin to glow that light blue color of the Frozen King's eyes. as essentially she's becoming the new Frozen King, or I guess in this case, Queen. And yeah, that has been Oathbreakers, a Oath of the Frozen King one shot. Hope to all the people who have watched this and all the people who will that you have enjoyed our story. I will be ending this broadcast now. If you guys have a couple minutes to kind of sit around and chit chat about this afterwards, I would appreciate it. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Have a good evening, and may you always seek enlightenment.